Hey people. So if anybody's ever purchased a Galaxy Buds Pro 3, Model 3, Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, you will have, you might have issues with the silicone ear tips fitting in your ears properly. They'd fall out, they don't give you a solid fit, and I came up with a quick fix because I had a bunch of issues with mine. And so I bought some expensive Amazon tips for like $20, and those didn't work out either. They ended up also falling out. So I came up with my own fix, and so let's get into it. So if you'll notice here underneath, I've created my own little foam tips to fit underneath the silicone ear, and that helps give me a solid fit and also some resistance from the inside of the silicone. Now, Samsung, they made a really shitty well, I wouldn't call it shitty. Okay, it's kind of shitty. The silicone is very comfortable. It's soft, but it's too soft, so it doesn't really form fit your ear or cause any resistance from the inner part of the little tip here. So eventually it kind of like folds in on itself while it's in your ear sometimes. If it is, then maybe it's too big for you. I don't know. But what I did is I went ahead and cut some pieces from little foam ear tips like this and molded them in and fit them around the core, and now we got that. So these fit great. They don't fall out anymore. They don't cause any discomfort when I'm trying to get them fitted in my ear, and we're good to go. These are my first iterations where I used pieces and glued them together to kind of get them to fit, and it worked well enough. It just wasn't very elegant, and it was a little too big at that point. So we're going to throw those away. All right, let's get started. So, little foam ear tips. Make sure they're the kind of foam ear tips that go back to shape, go back to their original shape, not just like, cotton balls or other kind of foam that may exist. So, while that one's getting back to shape, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of eyeball that and measure out how big. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so we're gonna eyeball the shape, and then we're gonna kind of cut it right there. So I've got an X-Acto knife here. You can use any kind of knife, I'm sure, that is razor sharp to cut it. And essentially, just go down and slice. Careful not to cut yourself, okay? And that one's gonna go back to shape at some point. We'll go ahead and move that off to the side, and then we'll grab the next one and slice it. There. Done. Good to go. So now, while these are going back to shape, we'll just wait a few seconds here to kind of get them re-expanded back to the original form. And so what I did originally, let me find my little thing, I grabbed a pen. And for my second iteration, what I did was I went in here and just kind of poked a hole right down the middle. I want to let it expand a little more before we go. Okay, that's good enough. So basically what I did was I just kind of eyeballed that, went right down. You can even draw a little dot there. And I just poked with kind of a sharp pen and went all the way through. Sorry. Let's get that on camera for the next one. So basically I poked it all the way through the middle, as you can see there, and then shoved it down. So doing this, created that hole, and then I was able to slide it in on the ear tip. Okay, as you can see with this guy, we've got that little hole in there. We can kind of stretch it out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and kind of just press it into that hole. Be careful, as I said, this silicone is very, very weak, so you can tear it very easily, and I've got a fix for that too. Simple fix. So it might take a little bit to work it if you're going to do it with just this method alone. You've got to find that hole. That's what she said. Okay, let's poke that right back through there again. Okay, stretch it out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to press it through and then just kind of stretch it over the bottom of the ear tip. Don't worry about messing up that the foam earplug part. That's stretchy and it will go right back. There we go. Got it. So at this point, if you let it sit, it should re-expand, and then you'll kind of want to, force it around. Now this method isn't very, this part isn't very elegant either, because once it goes back to form, if you'll notice, it kind of distorts the inner canal. And you can work it down and make it fit a little better. But for now, I mean, this solution does work. However, let's move on to the next part. Now, I was like, okay, how am I going to get a hole in here without just pressing a hole or using a knife to cut a hole and make that messed up? Well, you know, these foam ear tips are made of, I assume, some sort of memory foam. So foam is usually some sort of I imagine some kind of a polymer of some sort. So I decided to use my soldering iron to melt a hole through it. Because if you look at the bottom of this, they melted it to kind of give it a nice finish on the bottom of the plug. So this is super simple. So I've got my soldering iron. I've set it to the lowest setting, which is 200 degrees. And then essentially, I'm just going to go ahead and burn a hole through it. Or not burn a hole, but melt a hole right through the middle. It goes right in. Careful not to burn yourself. And then pull it right out. Boom. Now we got a beautiful hole. And oh, excuse me. There are fumes that come out of this, so make sure you're doing a well-ventilated area. Doing it in a well-ventilated area. And try not to breathe that stuff in if you can. And then I go through the other side and do it again here. Okay, pull it out. Get away from me, smoke. Okay, so that's basically it. That's all you need. You can go in there and make it a little bigger if you want. I don't think it's necessary to make this too much wider, so I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. Okay, now we'll let this kind of dry up a little bit here. If we go back to this other one, you can see that it's not fitting properly in there. And you may need to use a different size, a different part of the earplug when you cut it, but that, just depending on what size ear tip you're using. So I used the bottom part, which is the largest part, and that worked perfectly for the large ear tips, as you can see here. So maybe I should have used the upper part of the other one, but whatever. You guys can figure that out. Okay, I think that's good enough. Yep. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this. So let's go ahead and get that in there. It should be a little easier for me to get on this time because we have a much wider hole. Boop. Done. So now kind of get it so that it's lined up properly. and then fold it back on itself. And there we go. That one looks much better than the second one, right? So if you look at that, we are good to go. You can stick that in your ear and get on with your life and enjoy your fixed ear tips that Samsung did not think out too well. Oh, yes, and I'm going to fix this one while we're here. If you need to pull it off, I just pull it off of the weaker side, the more flexible side. Be careful though. If you pull too hard, and you will tear the silicone right here, right around the base. I did that with one of these ones. I can't remember which one, but if you do tear it, don't fret. Just get a little bit of super glue, put a little dab on the crack or wherever the tear was, and then just let it sit for 30-45 seconds, and it will seal itself back up. So that, even though it's a design flaw, we can fix it, and we don't have to worry about buying new ones. So that being said, yeah, we're good to go. If you guys find a better method or find some other thing that works better, leave it down in the comments below. Otherwise, let me know how this works for you. I'm excited to have this fixed, and fixed so cheaply, because, these earplugs, you can buy like 600 of them for $10. You may not want to spend that much, but, and the super glue that I use is just my wife's nail glue that she used. So not much that you need. If you've got an old soldering iron, I recommend using that. Otherwise, you can get those for like $10 on Amazon too. I'll leave some links in the description below. But let me know how you liked it, if these work out for you. I hope this helps a lot of people that were having problems with the Galaxy 3 Buds Pros. And I hope this helps you enjoy these, because these are great. Great earbuds, because the sound is okay. The sound sounds great, nice, crisp and clear. The bass is lacking. I like bass, but I like these because of the microphone noise canceling. I can sit on my couch with the kids and my wife watching TV, and I can still have a conversation without it completely blowing out and interrupting my phone call at all. So, yep, that's it. See you guys next time.